Welcome to this conversation with City Times, College Times, Dulquer and R.Balki. It's lovely to have you both with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. At the onset, I just want to kind of put this out, and I have to admit that as being part of this fraternity, that it's a little concerning to watch even the trailer of a movie that seems to take really fatal pot shots at film critics, and both of you have garnered so much of goodwill in all the years that you have worked that it probably wouldn't affect you both. But how do you feel about it? Did you ever find it daunting, Dulquer, for example, to take on a role like this?
No, I obviously have my own concerns as an actor, as in the kind of role I'm portraying or doing justice to the film and to R.Balki sir's vision of what the film should be. But I mean, the film isn't like a critic bashing film. The subject is based around that because it's probably inspired from the character's life story, and if he's and therefore the critic's angle comes into it. But if it was a murder or serial killer story about any other vocation, I don't think it would cause so much sort of discussion and so it's purely organically stemmed from the idea of the film. Like it's not, I don't think it was reversed. Like it wasn't like, hey, we'll take all these pot shots at critics and then weave a story around that.
Okay.
So it tells a very sensitive story about somebody, about an artist and what he faced and things like that. So I don't think you'll feel like it's a critic bashing film, but not to sir and how he was inspired to tell the story.
Okay. Again, R.Balki, I don't think any of your previous movies, including Chini Kampa or Padman, has got anybody like criticizing it because they were all like huge hits as well. But how do you feel about it now that you're coming out with this?
No, that's actually wrong. Actually, this is inspired by a criticism of Chini Kam. The very first review that I read was possibly the most popular critic in our country. And that point of time, that being a first-time filmmaker, you're very, very eager to see the first review of the guy you wanted to read from. And if it's so rudely bashed up, you forget how many people loved it. You forget how many people kind of really told you good things about it, because the first thing you ever read was that. So psychologically, you're damaged. So after that day till before I started reading Chup, I've never read a single thing written about me. So when you tell me people have written good things, I've never read it. Unless people have sent it to me, which will surely be good. But even the good things people haven't sent to me, I've not read. The bad things that people have written about me, I've not read. But before writing Chup, I actually went back and read everything that's ever written about me. So I know exactly now what it is. But it was never intended for anything. It was intended for a simple thought. It is like there's an artist. You put yourself out there. And it's not about just me. It's about so many people, and it's just not about films. It's like even at home, when somebody is cooking a meal and making a huge effort and taking a couple of hours to make it. When you eat it and say, rubbish, what is this rubbish? You do get hurt. Anybody who's put in some effort and you are serving it on a platter to somebody, and the person need not like it. Nobody is asking the person to praise it. But there's a way to say, I don't like it. There's ways to say so that I don't repeat the same mistake again. So I feel sensitivity in criticism of any kind, because today, like Dulquer was saying, everybody with a mobile phone is a critic, and everybody is writing anything under the sun because they just feel that it's out there. I can speak out. I can speak out versus I can hurt are two different things, and words hurt a lot more than, people think weapons are like guns and knives and things like that, but words are the biggest weapons, and you can destroy somebody with words. So that's always bothered me, of how somebody can have a profession like a critic and not have accountability and responsibility towards cinema, towards any profession they're writing about. You're a food critic, you're responsible for better food. You're responsible to guiding people to better food and doing, and even helping the person who you're critiquing to improve his or her food and not bashing the food up, which is crazy. So I just like that dynamic. So it's not about who are your friends. You may have a lot of friends in a particular community, but if something about the community bothers you, it's not that I don't have critics as friends. I do have a lot of critics as friends, and they have been friends. it's nothing personal. And neither am I as a filmmaker who's gone through the pain of this particular filmmaker that's there in the film. It's not that. It's a story. And you want to tell a story, and it's a thriller. It's a fun film, which is just using this as a thought to kind of mount a story.
Dulquer, I mean, as in, however much, a movie could be a director's baby, at the end of the day, it's the actor who's at the forefront and receives all the brickbats mostly than the director behind the camera. As such, over the years, I'm sure, how do you face criticism in the sense, how do you manage to take it constructively? Or, you're a social media beast in your own words. I remember reading that, you do go through people's responses on Instagram. So how do you kind of get separate the trolls from the actual constructive feedback that comes to you?
I feel like I read all of it. My immediate family, my wife, my mom, they all know that, like, by seeing my face, that I've read something negative, or it could even be a troll, and I'll mull over it, and I'll feel bad about it, or sometimes I'll see a review or a critique or criticism or a comment, and I sometimes screenshot it. I might send it to someone like my wife, my friends, and but do you agree with this? This person being personal. I dwell on this. I don't know why. My phone is full of screenshots and unsent notes that I've typed out, strongly worded replies and stuff. But I also drive a lot of my energy from it. I'm known to work a lot. I'm known to do a lot of work across industries and constantly be shooting. I think I derive the energy and motivation to keep proving people wrong, or to kind of earn my place here, and prove people that I love cinema and I want to be a part of great movies. And if you tell me I only do a certain thing, then I want to break out of it. Like at one point, if they said I only do urban roles, then I'll do something outside of that. And now, I keep hearing that I'm always doing romantic films, so I want to break out of that. But this all stems from reading all of this. But I also think it's so necessary, for people to do some responsible critiquing, which is a little kind towards the medium, a little kind towards cinema. Because if you genuinely love movies, you don't want to write off a film or the filmmakers or the actors. You want to see their best. You can be a little disappointed. Maybe they let you down in some way. Maybe they're not functioning at their best or taking you for granted. And all of that I understand. But kindness both ways. Like we are taking utmost care to make sure you're respected, and we genuinely care that you're entertained, and we respect you. At least I can speak from my choices or having worked with Balki, so the kind of work he's done. I think there's a genuine respect for the audience and their intelligence, and also their entertainment, their time, and their money. So when we are taking so much care, it'd be nice if reviewers or critics also took the same kind of care towards cinema.
Okay. Dulquer, you have shown through all the movies that you have done so far that you're somebody who believes in pushing the envelope when it comes to taking on roles for yourself as well as for the audience. But what is it about Chup, that one thing about Chup that made you feel that you have to kind of sign on for this one?
So I love it when when filmmakers and ideas really push the envelope more than, I don't know if I've ever chosen a film based on just my character. I keep heroing my films. I keep saying this. It's probably my most used term in interviews and promotions, that my movies are my biggest heroes, more than me or anything that's part of the film. And I'm constantly striving to find authentic, original content. And something like a Chup, it's from RBalki sir, just an inquiry from him saying, hey, you want to hear an idea? That itself is a momentous occasion for me, because it's one of those filmmakers that I've always loved. I love his sensibilities. I love his aesthetic. I love his films, his writing. So even working with him for me is an experience that I'll cherish, that I learn and grow from. So I was already excited about that, and but I was also initially expecting like a Chini Kampa in that zone of cinema.
Okay.
So it really surprised me when he was wanting to make Chup, and I was like, this is amazing, because here's a director that I love, someone I look up to so much, also kind of veering off center and wanting to do something hatke, like something different. and that stuff excites me, because that takes guts. That takes when we do the stuff that we're afraid of, I think that's when we really push ourselves. So I wanted to do it purely because of that. I felt like it scared the hell out of me. I mean, I told Balki so that I love it. It scares the crap out of me, but I want to do it. And it was an instant sort of no-brainer, instant decision from my side.
Balki, again, so many Bollywood directors, filmmakers are now turning towards actors from the South Indian film industry. But, you must have obviously followed Dulquer's filmography as well. But was there one movie that you felt that, he's a man that I want to work with? Or at the scripting stage itself, had you set your mind on him?
See, Dulquer's films I've seen quite a few, from all his Malayalam films, from Ustad Hotel onwards. I mean, lots and lots of films I've seen, from Charlie, from everything. I'm not even mentioning his Kurup and Salute and Sitaramam. These are all the current ones which I sing. But I feel he's one of those guys. He's got this, this body of work and talent. I mean, more than work, it's. I mean, he's still such a young guy, but such a body of talent he is, and yet he always comes across as a fresh face. It's like something new about him. So it's a very rare combination of such a seasoned performer and always fresh. I mean, there's no one character you can associate with him. He's not a typecast like most stars have an image. Okay, so this is the kind of image he is. He doesn't have that kind of an image. He's such a flexible star in that way. So that's a great thing about him. And I've always been, and I like his very, very modern, he pitches it very, very modernly. He's very understated, and a lot of things come very easily out of him. It's one of those like second nature. It's effortless. So I like the effortless style of his.
Okay. Dulquer, again, Bollywood is a space where everybody wants to be a hero. The kind of movies that it was known for. It's breaking out of the mold of obviously right now. But as such, do you believe that, the kind of role, the negative portrayal that you're making in this movie?
I haven't claimed I'm making a negative portrayal.
Okay. That's, I guess, a presumption we have made after watching the trailer. Yeah. But, you obviously made your debut in the industry, the Malayalam film industry, by playing somebody who is not exactly like a white hero as such. So how is it that you're attracted to these kind of roles? I mean, I would bring a bit of Kurup also into it. And don't you have any qualms about the image or the brand that you have?
No, I think all of us actors feel most alive, when we're playing gray or dark or intense or anything where emotions and reactions are all heightened. We all, that's when you feel like, oh, I've really performed today. It's this easy, light behaving, everyday living that we portray on screen. That's probably harder because you have to make it seem so effortless and bring in so much just daily habitual interactions, and it's not always easy. So these are usually the stuff I'm sure most actors love to do, but then we're always bogged down by what you just said. This worry of our image and branding and wanting to be a hero and box office and all of that. But I think this is some of late I've been trying to piece together this puzzle that I've been building, that I'm working across industries, and it's impossible to become a star in every industry and have a parallel career in every industry. But I've just been going, just floating with the wind and seeing where it takes me. But maybe even during these promotions, I've been trying to make some sense of it. And I feel like when I venture into, say, Hindi or Telugu or Tamil or whatever, I don't have so much of this baggage attached to me that I have in Malayalam, where my opening numbers is a big discussion. My final numbers is a big discussion. The number of footfalls in the Middle East is a big discussion. And so a lot of the times my choices have to be catering to that also. But these other industries are the places where I can truly just be an actor and not have worry about stardom and box office and all of that. So I think in having that freedom, I can push the envelope. I can probably do stuff that the other stars of those industries are not able to do or not willing to do or wanting to do or whatever. and I'm a little more free, a little more lighter on my shoulders to do that. So I think that's what I'm loving. Like maybe I can be a star in one industry, and maybe I can be an actor in other industries.